1-2-1-2. You're now tuned to 91.3 FM, WVKR, independent radio, representing the great city of Poughkeepsie, New York. Right now, you're listening to Penitentiary Mail, formerly the No Ideas original radio show, brought to you every Saturday night from 12 to 2. Me, DJ NUT, back in the building. It's only my fourth show back. Some good records. I got to get my handle back up. Still working on it, you know. Still a little sloppy on the turntables, but overall, it's a successful night. Shout out to everybody locked down. Green Haven, Wallkill, Fishkill, Shawangunk, Portersville. Yeah, me and explicit content will be heard during this program. We do got my man Decaf is in the building. Tone Cuff is in the building. We also got another special guest in the building. Besides that, let's just get through some things. I want to do some shout outs quick. Like I said, shout out to everybody locked down. Shout out to London. Trying to remember everybody. Gunset Rocky. Shout out to y'all. I got a letter from Gant. I got a fresh letter from Gant. I appreciate you writing. So shout out to Gant. Shout out to Jay Quan. I got a letter from Jay Quan. Gunset Rocky, Jay Quan. Again. Oh, shout out to G Dep. If anybody's out there that's in Fishkill right now, and or G Dep himself is tuned into the station, let them know we got love for him. If y'all don't know, I was a vicious MC. He locked down in Fishkill, and hopefully soon he returns to the streets. Hopefully he's catching a radio show. All right, so like I said, I got Decaf is in the building. Tone Cuff is here. We're just doing some throwbacks this week. Next week we're gonna have some MCs in the building, and a lot of new and exclusive material. Tonight, like I said, is just throwbacks. So we was going through everything from digital underground to Slick Brick, Cypress Hill, Eric B and Rakim, Special Ed, so on and so forth. Overall, musically, a successful night, and I'd like to thank everybody that's out there tuned in live through the frequency of 91.3. But tonight is a special night. It's our first special guest that's in the building. Our first guest back. We had the radio show was down for about a year and a half, and for those that are just tuned, you know, getting familiar with the show, re-familiar with the show, or you know, getting familiar with it, seeing it's our fourth show, you might be getting a lot of people that's locked down, or even people cruising in the Hudson Valley that catch this. But we used to do a lot of live guests and things of that nature. We had many great MCs from Fame or MOP to Flavor Flav to Street Life. We had so many. I could just keep going and going and going. But neither here nor there. We back in business. But what it is, I want to take a different thing, and I want to definitely be part of the Hudson Valley community. So one thing I'm looking at is people that I'm familiar with that have really overcome some things, become successful in many ways, and success isn't always measured in monetary value, but there's, you know, that doesn't hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like, that don't hurt. We ain't saying that hurts, but there's also other ways to be successful, and different levels of it. So tonight, what I did is I'm actually gonna bring this music down. This music's kind of annoying in the background. Yeah. So tonight, what I got is somebody I know for quite some time, and he's a local business owner. He's an author, motivational speaker, overall good dude. You know what I'm saying? You on that microphone right there.
All right, no doubt.
You got it?
Yeah, everything is good, baby.
Yeah. So we got my man Jay Vega, 360 is in the building.
What up? Good, brother. What's good, Nut? Talk to him. Let's talk to him. Yeah, man.
Welcome, man. Listen, I wanna take some time real quick. Say thank you for coming all the way up to the station. Giving this interview on such a late night, man, you know,
Yeah.
might not be long haul to Poughkeepsie might not be your thing.
Yeah.
But you took the trip, and I just want to say good looking for
Yeah.
doing that.
You know what I say to that, man? It's like, yo, I wasn't complaining when I was driving out here to party. You know what I'm saying? So now we have an opportunity to be able to, you know, get on a platform and be able to speak to our people. Like I said, penitentiary mail. You know what I'm saying? You shouting out the brothers that's locked down. So, you know, we're here to bring a message, man. You know what I'm saying? To let them know that anything is possible, man, to those that believe. So it's an honor and a privilege, you know what I mean, to be here, you know, amongst the names that you listed of the people that have graced this radio station that you've interviewed thus far. You know, to have my name counted amongst them, man, it's an honor and a privilege. So I thank you.
Yeah, and to me, it is also the same. You know, what I'll say is this: is that certain situations that have hung with me during my life. One situation you might not even remember. I saw you in the Hudson Valley Barber School, and you wanted a CD. And I was like, nah, just take it because you're my man from the block, and so on and so forth. And you were like, nah, this is your art. You made me take the money. This is back in the days. And then there's another thing. I'm gonna keep it real.
Yeah, let's keep it 100 with everybody, man. Yeah.
That every time I used to get skied up with John, keeping it real. Obviously, I don't do these things no more, but he told me, he's like, yo, the only person that came to my grandmother's funeral was Jorge. Word up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Them actions right there always stayed in the back of my mind. So, like, whenever I kick it with you, I know that you always keeping it right.
Exactly. You know, that's one of the things that we have to do, man. I mean, aside from all the street stuff and everything that we go through, you have to be there for your people. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the true measure of love, is when you can show me that you're there for me at my lowest point. Or if you see me chasing my dream, you know what I'm saying? You ain't just going to ask for a handout because you understand the work and the dedication that goes into it. And you understand that that's worth something. You know what I mean? So for you just to give it to me, I understood the love, but I had to show you that, yo, listen, man,
It's hard when I run into the guys that, you know, when we was, you know, teenagers and stuff like that. It's hard because it was like two separate lives. It's like I'm a DJ, but there was this whole other thing, you know, whatever it is. But so sometimes when I'm doing the music or whatever, it was a little funny back then, but you showed mad love, and I appreciate that. All right, so let's talk a little bit about, because I think the one thing will break into the others. Now, step into your greatness.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about this book right here.
Yeah.
And when was it released? When did the book come out?
The book came out a couple of months ago, and it was actually, you know, it wasn't even in the plans. What I had did was I had went down and I had paid a significant amount of money to become a trained professional speaker, motivational speaker, and you know, the person that I was learning from, you know, he had put me onto a blueprint, and you know, I had so many notes because I was doing so much teaching, you know, because I have a background in the church, and you know, I was doing, you know, Bible studies live on Instagram, and I had notes and I had this information, and it just came together to where it was like, okay, you know, you already got the content, you just need the format. So I went ahead and I took the information that I had and formatted it into a book. And, you know, Step Into Your Greatness is really 5 faith-based principles for personal transformation. And I believe that transformation is possible for anybody that believes. We just need a blueprint. We need a step-by-step guide that's going to show us how to get from where we are to where it is that we want to be. So that's how Step Into Your Greatness was birthed.
Now, coming from, I'm from I can admit it. I'm born and raised in Middletown.
Me too.
All right, so, and Jorge too. I mean, J Vega 360, same thing. Now, coming up in town, to where you're at to speak the message, you went through quite a few things. You know, obviously, there's only a little bit of time. We have to do an interview.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the come up as a young man in Middletown, and what it what some of the things that it transpired to, transpired into.
Well, definitely. I mean, my story's just like anybody else's. You know what I'm saying? Single parent home. My mother was a victim of domestic violence. You know what I'm saying? Drug abuse in the home. Growing up without a purpose, not knowing who I was, nor the purpose for which I was created. You know what I'm saying? So eventually what happens is when you lack an identity, the streets will begin to tell you who you are and how you're supposed to operate. You know, and then at the age of 15, you know what I'm saying, I got down with the nation. You know what I'm saying? I became a gang member, became a Latin King. You know, so a big part of my life, that's where my life changed, you know. Before then I was an athlete, you know what I'm saying? I was into the right stuff, you know what I'm saying? And you know, although the nation taught me a lot of good things, you know what I'm saying, there was a lot of bad things that I experienced as well. And it took me down a road that enabled me to become the man that I am today. So you know, I don't discredit anything that I've been through in my past, because the Bible tells me that all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord and those that are called according to God's plan and purpose for your life. So, you know, looking back at that, you know, the street life, the gang life, the hustling, getting high, you know what I'm saying? I got high myself, man. You know what I'm saying? I tell people all the time, like, you know, when them E-pills hit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you got high once or twice.
Yeah, nah, but I'm just saying, like, you know, because
I know you J Vegan 360 now, but shit, we smoke many L's on the block.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, that's one of the things. A lot of times, you know, people will move on and they don't want to talk about their past or talk about what they've been through. But it's like, how else can you relate to the people that you're trying to speak to if you're not being open, honest, and transparent about everything?
You know what it is, because it's sometimes the way it comes off when people speak about their past, it's always in a negative, glorifying manner. It's never about the negative and taking ownership.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So there's a difference. It's like, you know what I mean? When you know you screwed up something, you're like, man, I really screwed up back in the days by doing all this stuff, taking ownership for it. And some people be like, yo, I remember, I shot this dude up. You know what I mean? But now the book. How'd you get this thing pressed? You did it yourself.
Yeah, yep. Everything's self-published.
Right?
So I'll give you the blueprint that was given to me, right? So I'm not a writer, you know what I'm saying? I got a GED. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. I'm not a scholar by any sense of the, you know, but I do understand how to do research and I do know how to put information together. So one of the things that I did is I utilized the power of artificial intelligence, ChatGPT. So I went into ChatGPT to get an outline for a book. And then what I did was I plugged in the information, my notes, into that outline. Mm-hmm. And then once I had it plugged into that outline, I then had it formatted into a book. Then I transferred it out of the AI system and put it into a Word document. And then I went in there and I made all of my edits and I made all of the changes that I needed to make, you know, because it was my information that I put in from my notes, but it helped me structure it into a book format. Then from there, once I did that, what I did was I went over to Fiverr, and then I had a professional, you know what I mean, format it into a book format, so that way when it went for print and press, everything would be ready. I also got my cover done through Fiverr, you know what I'm saying? I got my graphics done through Fiverr, and Fiverr is an outsourcing. So, I mean, altogether, when you think about what it cost me to put together the book, man, I did it for under $500, you know what I'm saying, by outsourcing the work and utilizing technology in order to take the information that I already had and to put it into book format, and then I self-published through Amazon.
So now, like, all right, so my thing is, you've been on this path. I mean, I'll just get to the point. I've seen you in situations where you got three burners on you at one time.
Yeah, been there.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you made such a dramatic change with your life. Let's give us obviously you just gave a little background history. You was involved with gangs. You know, we're not going to get up here and tell 1,000 war stories.
Yeah, no, that's definitely not what it's about.
And so, heavily involved, yes. My thing is this: at what point did you decide to take that day by day step into becoming who you are now?
Yeah.
Because it's a day by day process, and
yes,
there's that one point, that pinpoint, that kind of changes your direction. Give us a little information on what you got for that.
Listen, man. Back in 2003, it was my second felony drug charge. My first one was in '98. It was on my second felony drug charge. I was at the lowest point in my life at that point in time. You know what I'm saying? Like, You know, I was on the streets, I was grinding, I was hustling around the clock. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I was getting high. Like I said, that's back when them E-pills hit. You know what I'm saying? So I used to go see my fiends looking worse to them. They used to be like, damn, nigga, what you on?
You had sales both times?
Nah, possession, yeah.
You never caught sales?
Never caught sales, you know what I'm saying? So, but the thing about it is like, you know, I was at the lowest point of my life, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, at that point, I was living in Super 8 Motel. You know what I'm saying? Me and my daughter's mother was separated, you know, grinding around the clock. I was getting high. I was lost. I was really in a dark place. And getting locked up was the best thing that ever happened to me at that point in my life. And it was while I was there and I was in the county jail, and there was this dude PR, and he kept telling me like, yo, come to church, come to church, come to church. And I'm like, man, I ain't going to church. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was still in that mentality. And then one day I decided to take him up on that offer. And the day that I decided to take that brother up on that offer was the day that everything changed in my life. You know, I went to that service, man, and I felt the power of God come upon me like nothing that I've ever, like I've never,
just like he's like, you're coming with me.
Yeah,
you know,
man.
As long as you're ready to, if he'll say you want something, he'll give it to you. He'll show you the way to get it, but you got to be willing to work for it.
Yes.
You know, and that's the thing. It's the key. It's like, I know there's certain things that I've noticed that I really want, and he leaves you. It's not going to come easy. You know, it's just you got to want it.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's why it says narrow is the path and difficult is the way. You know what I mean? That leads to the everlasting. You know, it says that faith without works is dead. Like, yes, we can believe God for certain things, but it's just like anything else, man. You got to be willing to put in that work. So, you know, there was a lot that I had to experience inside of my walk. Like, you know, it wasn't like everything just magically changed in my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had to go through the process of being locked up. You know what I mean? I had to go through the process of having my faith tested because, you know, my second felony charge, I'm facing 6 to 12, and I just got a baby that was born. You know what I'm saying? So that was a difficult thing for me.
And then you ain't got nothing to cover up.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
And you're feeling like you're doing the streets.
Exactly,
and
exactly.
Like a ton of
yeah,
bricks,
so, you know, while I was in there, man, once I had that transformation, man, the word of God became my best friend. You know what I'm saying? I would lock in and I would just devour the word, and it would speak to me and it would minister to me right where I was at. And it would give me the healing that I needed in that moment in order to be able to trust God for greater things in my life, because it was there that God began to make me some promises. You know what I'm saying? Like, I went from facing a 6 to 12 to you know, where they didn't want to budge, to where they came down to a 4.5 to 9, because back in those days you had those mandatory minimums for your, you know, first, second, third charge. And you know, I was trying to get shot because I'm like, yo, this is, you know, I ain't never been upstate before. I'm like, yo, other dudes is getting shot, and they like, yo, you ain't telling. And I'm like, yo, you're right, I'm not telling. But I knew that God had made me some promises. You know what I mean? And I had to trust and believe in the promises that God has spoken to me through his word. And, you know, when my faith was tested, man, I just stayed committed to what it was that God had called me to do. I trusted and I believed. And it came down to the wire to where, you know, when I was, you know, you go to court and it's like, yo, it's like either you're going to take this or you're going to trial. You know what I'm saying? So we went down there, and this is, you know, I have to tell this story because when we went down, you know, my lawyer came down and he asked me, and he was like, I said, well, listen, you know, I know what God had told me, but I said, you know what, God, if not, then I trust that you have a plan for me, you know, being behind these walls, because I was already leading Bible studies. I had already had dudes coming through, you know, sliding their little Gideon Bibles underneath my door with a decision for salvation in the back of the Bible before they was going upstate. So the Lord was already using me in that place. And I'm not even going to lie to you, man, because while I was there, it was one of the first times in my life that I actually had peace. You understand what I'm saying? Because the streets was so chaotic while I was locked up, and I was just, you know, I was there, I was by myself. You know what I'm saying? It was the first time that I actually had peace in my life.
Eating on a regular basis.
You know what I'm saying?
You're on a routine, like a regular routine.
Yeah,
You don't know what you're doing.
Exactly.
You don't know if you're going to be sleeping for 3 days, where you run into, and so on and so on and so forth.
So, you know, so I say that to say this, though. You know, my lawyer came down, and I said, well, listen, man, you know, if I got to take the 4.5 to 9, I'll take the 4.5 to 9. You know what I'm saying? But then when we go back upstairs, my lawyer comes to me and he asked me this. He says, do you believe in God? And I said, yes, I do. And he said, because I can't take no credit for this. What lawyer says that? You know what I'm saying? But he says, the DA is willing to come down to a 3 to 6 to make you shock eligible. You'll be home in about a year.
Mm-hmm.
So that way I can take my daughter to her first day of school.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So that was my first test of faith, to where I seen God come through for me in a way like never before. And it was like, once that happened and God proved his faithfulness to me, I knew at that point that I had a responsibility to remain faithful to him, because if it had not been for the Lord that was on my side, I really don't know where I'd be today, my brother.
You put your faith in him blindly.
Blind faith.
And that's where you're going to get your success from. You can't always be, God, take the weight off my shoulders, and then when something doesn't go your way, you get mad at the Creator.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't work like that. It has to be both ways, and that's crazy what you said, because to bring you down from all that time to the point where you're just doing a year, to make sure it's a clear sign that you have a responsibility, like you said, a responsibility and a path.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad that you didn't, blow it.
Yeah.
Bottom line, you sitting here with me, because this is one thing. 30 years ago, if you told me I was going to be on the radio interviewing J Vega 360,
Mm-hmm.
the author and the barbershop owner / barber / father / motivational speaker, I wouldn't. If we was 30 years ago, this is not what I wouldn't believe you. Nah, you out of your mind. And to have you up here, and now that actually hear how it started from that point where you were going to be facing all this time, still kept your faith blessed, and then you knew you had this position that you had to fulfill. So now, what comes from that? You know what I mean? Like, now you coming home. Come home from shock.
Yeah, let me tell that story, because that's a whole nother story, right? Yeah,
go ahead,
that's a whole nother story.
Did you go to Lakeview?
No, I went to Mariah.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I was in Lakeview at first, and then I went to Mariah. But I'm gonna tell you, that experience in shock was one of the best things that ever happened to me, because what it really did was it pulled out the leader that was in me. I started out as a squad leader, then I became the platoon guide on. And we had a house with 60 dudes in it, and we graduated 57. A lot of people they know, like, them graduation rates, they don't really pop off like that. You know what I'm saying? But I credit my background from the streets and from being a king to understanding structure and how to get dudes to work together and to move. You know what I'm saying? So, shock was one of the best things that ever happened to me, because of the things that they taught us. You know what I'm saying? I really soaked it up, and I really made sure I paid attention, because when you're in the visiting room with 60 dudes and you're with there and you see dudes that haven't seen their kids in, however long, and you're watching these dudes break down.
Yeah, some dudes
don't
even
get
visits.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
And people don't get visits.
Yeah, you're watching dudes break down as they hug their kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, that did something to me, man. And, it was the same thing for me. Like, my daughter had grew up so much in the 8 months that I didn't see her that, it caused me to break down. And the fact that she still knew who I was and called me daddy. These are the things that you remember and that you hold on to. But coming home, oh my God, you go in, you get saved, you meet God, but then you come home and nobody is into what you're into.
Nobody cares.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you can sit there and be like, yo, listen, man, I'm feeling the best, man. I'm doing it. And it's like, yo, I don't care. What do you have for me? What can you do for me, man?
Yeah.
That's how this is.
So it was like, I come home. The house I got paroled to, I go in to put my clothes in the closet. There's a shotgun in there and the weed plant growing. So I had to call my parole officer, like, yo, I can't stay here. He's like, what you mean? I'm like, yo, I can't stay here. So next thing I know, my man was gracious enough to allow me to sleep on his couch in his basement. You know what I'm saying? And
shout him out.
My man Dale, you know what I'm saying? And that was my code D on my first charge, who actually got away and came back. You know what I'm saying? And laid down. He said, yo, I can't leave you. And that's still my brother to this day. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to my brother Dale. Man, because I was like,
kind of guy right there.
like yo, he got away, man. He was like, yo, I couldn't leave you, man. So, but I was sleeping on his couch, and it's like, I got a kid, I got a baby's mom's, and you know what I mean. I'm sleeping on somebody's couch, and I still had my clientele. I had somebody holding down my box at the time, but they wasn't running it right, and so next next thing you know, I'm back in the game. I'm right back where I started from before I left.
After the second bid.
After everything, man, because it was out of necessity. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm sleeping on somebody's couch. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to give somebody an opportunity to handle my business. They ain't handling it right. I'm seeing my peoples. My peoples is like, yo. So I wound up right back in the game. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have a church. I wasn't surrounded by any Christians. I didn't have any type of mentors or anybody to point me in the right direction. So by not having that support system coming home, I wound up back in the same situation that I found myself in that got me locked up in the first place, you know?
Yeah, all that. But meanwhile, you're doing all that and you got that thing burning in the back of
Yeah,
your head. Like, yo,
yeah.
man, I got to get up out of this,
Yeah,
man. Because
yeah.
you got the love and you know you want to do the right, but you're like, you feel like you're like forced into these situations. My thing is like, all right, so you out there, you back in the streets, you getting money, you getting high, you running around. Are you running around reckless or are you running around conservative?
No, I was running around extremely conservative. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So now, at what point does this all kind of
Yep.
stop, man? And we get now, where does the barbering come in?
Well, let me tell you what got.
What's in between
Yeah.
that, because the barbering is way before the book.
Yep.
And it's gotten to the point where you have your own shop now.
Yep.
So I want to talk about who was influential on the barber scene, because I'm sure it's somebody from town,
Yeah.
or somebody you was cutting with, or somebody we all know that's got, you know, skills that influences.
Yeah.
I don't remember you being a barber.
Yeah,
you know?
well, listen, I actually started out cutting hair in 8th grade. First time I picked up a pair of clippers, hold up a minute. I had moved out to Scotchtown, and a lot of people know Seneca King, Tom King. You know, I went out there and we was in 8th grade. My man had a line out the door doing $5 haircuts at the time, and we was in junior high school.
You probably don't even remember. I was out there in Pine Bush with you.
Yeah? Wow.
You don't remember?
No, I don't remember.
I was out there in the eighth grade with you in Pine Bush.
Wow. Yeah, I just remember our chef days, Sheffield days. You know what I'm saying?
But I was out. That was back. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah. So Seneca really set it off. You know what I'm saying? And
Nice.
so then I got some clippers, started cutting my own hair, cutting my grandfather, my cousin. Then I started cutting my boys, the football team. I had my first barbering job at a high school. Really didn't know much.
I didn't know all that.
Yeah,
man. Who gave you the job?
It was some lady was on. It was called City Styles up on East Main Street in Middletown, and she just basically gave me the keys. I'm fresh out of high school. I'm in there messing people up. You know what I'm saying?
Burning necks and all that.
Doing all that. You know,
all that, burning that neck up.
Yeah,
Come over
and,
here,
and it was crazy because I never really knew that barbering was gonna be that thing that I do. You know what I'm saying? So it was always either I was in the streets or I was doing my union job where I was cutting trees, IBW 1249. You know what I'm saying?
You working with Brian?
Yeah, working
Brian,
with DJ Guest. You know what I'm saying?
Guest is who influenced me.
Wow.
To become a DJ. I watched it. I never saw anybody DJ before. All the time I was out in the streets, nothing. I was about 19. I was 18 years old after the raid, and I worked with Guest.
Yeah.
And I saw him DJ in my man's basement, and it changed my life.
Yeah.
I never saw anybody DJ before.
Yeah, I cut Guest's hair now. I cut his son's hair. You know what I'm saying?
Let me tell you, this is the honest truth. There ain't a better DJ. I've never seen a better DJ, a live DJ that is more clean and better than DJ Guest. That dude is a problem. Like,
wow.
Seriously,
Wow.
I don't know if people
shout out DJ Guest.
Shout out Guest. But that dude is so clean, like cutting in and out and party, right? You know, because that's what he does. He's been doing it for forever and ever. So
let me tell you, DJ Guest, right? He used to DJ our school dances in 5th grade.
Yeah.
With 1200s.
Yeah. 7th grade.
You know what I'm saying?
Junior high, have the whole cafeteria.
Yeah.
The teachers are bringing everybody in for a period. Him and his man up in there cutting up. I'm telling you, cutting up cypress. And Guest used to be crazy with it.
Yeah.
So when I was working with him, I love music. I just love music, and he was working for all these labels.
Yep.
Back in the days, and I was just working with him like, yo, and he's like, yo, I got this album. Let me get him. You know, he had all the promotional material. And then one night he's like, yo, I got these records. You know Jeremy Knox?
Yep.
So Jeremy had some techno kid. He had like techno music, but he had the turntables. And I was like, Brian, my man got them turntables. Him and you know Chris Wambobo.
Yep.
So DJ Bang Chris,
Mm-hmm.
him and Guest came over down to Jeremy's basement, and that was like one of the best nights of my life, man. Bryant was just flipping all these like boot camp records and shit. I was just like, you know, you seen people DJ, but you don't really, you know, maybe that's what was the Smiles and
Yeah,
all that,
yeah,
you know, but you out
Eclipse
there,
and
you
all that,
worried about
yeah.
getting money, looking at bitches or whatever it is. You're not, we in the streets, we don't give a shit about no DJing. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it like that, but we ain't really care. There's good music playing. That's all you don't know about the craft, the mixing, what these not, you know, the tempo, what this thing does. So, yeah, I had to run through that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, nah, you listen. You don't have listen. That's a part of who we are, though. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of times we talk about the elements. You know what I'm saying? From the graffiti to the MC to the break dancing to the DJs. You know what I'm saying? That's what makes hip hop hip hop. You know what I'm saying? So you know you gotta big up the DJs because the DJs are the gatekeepers, man. They the tastemakers of the game. You know, so you know if you're respected by the DJs and you can respect what it is that they do. You know what I'm saying? That's what makes the game special.
So that was I took that one time, and I never DJed with anybody else ever.
Yeah,
since then.
yeah.
And I took that one memory, and I watched how he used the turntable, and that's how I started. And I'm not I'm not a turntablist. You know what I mean? Like
nah, but
some
you nice though.
But I get busy.
Yeah.
I'm still a little. I'm trying to get back. I've been trying to get back to my handle. I was off for about a year and a half.
Yeah.
You know, away from it. So. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. You know what's crazy though, man? You brought up Search, man. I cut his hair too.
Do you?
You know what I'm saying? So that's the power of barbering. These are dudes that I went to high school with. I'm cutting their hair. I'm cutting their kids' hair. We still get to have that bond and that relationship that we had for so many years.
Search used to be on the block. You know, remember he used to.
Yeah,
remember that he used to be dating that one. But shout out to DJ Bing, and once again shout out to DJ Guess. Now barbering. So now when you cutting hair, when do you start? All right, so you said you already learned the skill of barbering. So where does that come into play? Barbering. Where does that come into play after the second bid?
Okay, so I'll tell you, right? So this is how barbering came into play for me, right? I got involved with a network marketing company, right? The network marketing company had taught me about, cash flow quadrant. You ever heard of that by Robert Kiyosaki? And it talks about the mindset of being an employee to being self-employed, to being a business owner, to being an investor. So once I was exposed to that level of information, I kind of wanted to get out of that employee box. You know what I'm saying? I was working my union job, but my worth was being determined by somebody else. They were telling me how much they wanted to pay me an hour for my time. You understand what I'm saying? But once I got exposed to that new level of information, I said, what service can I provide that's going to allow me the potential to have unlimited, earning potential, that will allow me to be my own boss, allow me to be in control of my time and to charge what I feel like I'm worth. So barbering was that outlet for me. It was that thing that I always had that I never knew would be the thing to catapult me and propel me to greater heights in life. So once I got there, I just began to phase out of that employee mindset with the job, and then I started to pursue barbering. So I was working at Fusion Barbershop, Raul, Idris, Fox, the whole crew. Shout out to Fusion. Like if you're from Middletown, even if you're from the Hudson Valley.
Shout out to my man Tim.
Yeah, Tim the barber.
Shout out to my man Tim.
Yeah, Tim was over there. Tim was over there at Matt for the longest.
Shout out to the rest of the
You know what I'm saying? Yo, Raul Sheffield.
Obviously. Jay Benzea, Brendan. I was in the county with Brendan. I remember we was locked up in the county.
Yeah.
One day I'm in the joint and I couldn't believe I seen this dude. I'm like, yo, what are you doing in here?
Yo, let me tell you, Brendan big time in Florida.
I heard.
Yeah, he's like, you know what I'm saying?
Really well for himself, man.
Yeah, he's on the top of the barber game right now.
And I'm glad he's being successful.
Yeah, extremely.
I'm glad he's successful.
Yeah.
He was always a good dude, man.
Yep.
He was always a good dude. I know him for a long time, quite some time too. But definitely shout out to my man Tim. That was my guy. I know Jay Benzea a long time too.
Jay Benzea.
Well, obviously Seneca, but we know him I know him from Palm Bush. I was out there for a few years.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I was in Palm Bush for 4th, 5th, and 6th, and then I went back in 8th. I'm glad that happened. It made it. We went 10th, and so this way when we all got out of school, it made situations like going to fusions and all that, where you think you don't know anybody, but you know all these people because we were in school with both Middletown and Palm Bush people, you know.
Yeah, relationships,
Yeah,
man.
it was good, man. And I know, like, you know, shout out to Sherrod, everybody. You know, my mother still live on Greenway.
Get out of here,
my
yeah.
mother,
Wow.
my mother live on Greenway.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, back to the barbering thing, right?
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Just, you know, so I started to transition.
My bad.
Nah, it's all good. No, this is what we doing, though. We vibing, you know what I'm saying? Yo, Nut, it feels good to be able to talk about old times. You know why? Because there's a lot of people that ain't here to have these discussions. You know what I'm saying? Like, we talking about barbering and success, but we lost a lot of people along the way. You know what I'm saying? And that's my motivation behind what it is that I do. When we talk about stepping to your greatness and everything else, it's like in honor and in memory of those that are not here, those that we lost. You know, we're fortunate enough to be able to say that we made it, that we made it out, that we will be able to walk away from the darkness of our past and to be able to walk in God's light. But there's a lot of people that we know that are not here that never had that opportunity. And for me, that's my mission.
Some you didn't even expect, man.
Yeah,
You know, some people you thought they were standing on top of the world. And it just, you know, life takes these situations and, damn.
Yeah.
But like you were saying, like with the barbering. So now where does your first, so you're working with Fusion.
I'm working at Fusion.
So and how is that influential on you, as a barber and as a person?
Yeah, because Fusion, what was beautiful about it was a brotherhood. You know what I'm saying? There was 10 barbers in there. You know what I mean? I had the opportunity to work right in between Raul and Idris. You talk about two legends in the game.
Yo, my bad. I just want to say something real quick. Fusion's a different shop. I was talking about Cachet.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah, different. Yep. Yep. So, and Cachet got its own set of history. You know what I'm saying?
I'm over there. Shout out Jay.
Nah.
Shout out Brendan. I'm like,
you know? Nah. But that's all fruit from the same tree. You know what I'm saying? It's all fruit from the same tree. Yep. So, but you know, working in between those individuals and being underneath their mentorship. This was the first time that I ever had mentors. Somebody to be able to pour into me and to give me the game, to be able to teach me what it was, you know, not just how to cut hair, but how to be a barber. Because there's so much more to being a barber than it is just cutting hair. Because, you know, when you're a barber, you're actually servicing people. You know what I mean? You have to know how to interact with people. You have to know how to be able to connect with your clientele. And it's not just about a haircut, but it's about building a relationship and creating an experience. So, you know, while I was there, you know, I began to take it serious. You know what I mean? I began to fall in love with the craft. And, you know, it was through that transition period.
What year?
Oh, man. My brain is shot when it comes to years and dates. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, it was. You figure I had my shop now for 8 years. I apprenticed for 2 before I got my license, before I was able to get my shop. So you're looking at 10. And I was probably there a year before that. So, you know, you're probably looking back 11 years, so 2011, 2012, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, and it was crazy because I never really had my license, you know what I'm saying? I was cutting hair all those years. I started out in Maestros. You remember Maestros back in the days?
Of course.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I used to be at Maestros. And I'm telling you, man, that was like...
There was a couple shootouts.
Yeah, shootout, stabbings, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you had to...
Maestros, right?
Yeah, you had to come to work about it. You know what I'm saying? You had to come to work on a point. You know what I'm saying? Police running up in there, like it was a crazy scene.
When I first started DJing, I used to always be out like, damn, man, police down here again.
Yeah,
you know,
man.
The record shop up the street.
So, yeah, man. You talk about Roots Record Shop?
Yeah,
remember that?
Yeah,
you remember the old school Roots battles?
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Like, yo, you know. But yeah, so you know, when I was there. This is another thing, man, because, you know, I'm here tonight with a purpose in mind, man, and my purpose is to be able to highlight the glory of God in my life. You know what I mean? Not to glorify anything about my past, but just to glorify the God that's in my life. So I'm going to tell you how I got my shop, right? I was at a church service, right? And there was a prophet that was walking by, and he walked right by me, turned around and pointed at me and said, "You're a barber." I didn't know this guy from a hole in the wall, right? Walked up to one of my clients, somebody in the church whose hair I cut, and said, "There's something about your hands," talking about the anointing that was on my hands, the gift that God had placed on my hands to be able to not only cut hair, but to be able to shape and transform lives. And he was saying there's something about the oil. And he said that God is telling you today that the only thing standing between you and your destiny is a piece of paper. That piece of paper was my master barber's license. Because once I got my master barber's license, that would put me in a position to be a shop owner. So I'm going to tell you how I got my shop, right? Because I wasn't prepared financially. I wasn't prepared mentally, emotionally, in any of those regards, right? But it had just so happened that there was a woman that was selling a shop, and I was selling barber supplies on the side part-time, to supplement my income while I was barbering. Because when you first get into the barber game, it's tough to be able to build the clientele and, to be able to support your family while you grinding. So I'm there, right? And when I was working with this dude, he would tell me, he said, George, what do you want me to pay you? And I said, listen, Rob, I said, a starving man will work for food. I said, I don't look like I'm hungry. I said, an employee will work for wages. I'm nobody's employee. I said, a wise man works for opportunity. I said, just give me an opportunity when it shows up. So this woman was looking to sell her shop, and he had recommended me. And, I knew that I didn't have the money at the time. And this woman sat me down and she said, listen, she said, and this woman is not a believer. She's not a Christian. She said, I don't know why I'm doing this, but and she pointed up to the sky, he told me that this was for you. So sit down. I'm going to make you an offer. And this woman literally gave me a barbershop that was already furnished, that had 7 years of established history, and it had one employee.
So what you get, like the building, the whole business?
No. I got the business. I rent the location, but she gave me the business, no money down, put me on a payment plan. When I didn't have the money, I didn't have the resources. At that time, I understood marketing. I understood, the networking part of it and how to be able to build a business. So, I went in and I was able to take a struggling barbershop and turn it around, and now we're thriving 8 years later. But I say that to say this, man, you know what I'm saying? That at that point in time, I was faithful. I was faithful in the things that God had called me to do, because we was doing a lot of ministry work in the streets, where we were servicing the homeless. We was doing marches for Jesus. We was going into the jails. We was preaching the word. We was going out to youth services, and we was going out there and, we was doing the music and doing things like that. And that was God's way of rewarding me, because he says that, he'll give you things that, the wealth of the wicked is laid up for the righteous, that he'll give you houses that you did not build. Like, that was God, blessing me and rewarding me, for a level of faithfulness.
To show you the way that you want to work for.
Exactly.
So you kept doing what you had to do, and that was your reward. It's something that you never thought was going to happen.
Never thought.
You said 8 years later, to still be in business, successful. What a good feeling that must be.
Yeah, and to be able to employ people.
Coming from Summerfield, coming from the Heights, coming from North Street, Linden, poverty, single mother.
Mm-hmm.
We all there. The drug addiction, the drug selling, the gangs, the violence. To overcome everything that you've been hit with, to become an author, a motivational speaker, a business owner, a father, a proud man. You can be proud. You can see the pride.
Yes.
I can see the pride in you.
Yes.
And it just that's to walk around. It's all because of the good Creator that's blessing you with all this. To walk around with that, like, I'm proud that I rock for God. I'm proud because this is what I've achieved by working for Him.
Mm-hmm.
I won't work for you or you, but I'll do the work for Him, and then here you are.
Yeah, man.
What a path, man.
Yeah.
You got a lot more. There's a lot more information.
Well, but I say like this, man. It wasn't always easy, though. You know what I mean? It didn't come without its challenges. It didn't come out without its struggles. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of in between time and in the meantime type of things that take place.
Right now, there's probably a struggle going on behind the scenes that we don't know about.
There you go.
Faith, because you know that you're willing to put the work in to keep it going, and that's all you have to do. Stick through it, and you're gonna rise above it.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously you know that already. You're telling us that, but that's the way I always look at it, man. I try to ride that. No matter what, I'm gonna ride it out. I ain't trying to go back. I ain't trying to go back. So, book, barbershop grand opening. How was that feeling? With having family
Yeah, you know it was crazy. We didn't even do a grand opening
You didn't do a
because
grand opening?
because I had bought an established business.
Yeah, that's right.
I just stepped right in and got to work. You know what I'm saying? Because
where is the barbershop?
the barbershop is in Port Jervis, New York, 81 Pike Street. It's called Tri-State Barbershop. And you know, and the crazy thing is I actually had a second barbershop as well out in Milford, Pennsylvania. Another one that somebody basically handed me no money down just based upon my character. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I wound up giving that one up because, you know, I'm going through a little divorce. And so sometimes some things got to get sacrificed in the process. Like you said, there's things going on behind the scenes. Because,
brother.
yeah, because it ain't always, you know, it ain't always sweet. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, so I just sold.
My man George J. Vega came through with the big B word.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
I'm going through the divorce.
Yeah, you know, it is what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. You know, we try to make things work, and if they don't, you know, sometimes, you know, I know what the Bible says, God hates divorce, but listen, man, if it's going to cause me to get out of character, it's better for me to walk away.
Hey.
You know?
Seems like you're doing all right.
Yeah, man, you know.
See out there on White Sandy Beach.
Yeah, you know.
Feet all in the sand.
Yeah,
you know?
but you know, that's one of the things I'm intentional about my peace.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the things that I've learned is that we can literally shape our reality by the power of our thoughts. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, whatever it is that we have a desire of, if we can envision it in our mind and we're willing to take the necessary steps to work towards its fulfillment, we can have it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, our lives are shaped by our thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's same thing like your diet. If you eat crap, you're going to get crap. You know what I'm saying? But if you eat healthy, then you know, the results of your body is going to be a healthy lifestyle. So, you know, I take in good thoughts, man. I believe in visualization and, you know, seeing the life that I want to live and then actually setting out to do those things. You know, so yeah, you know, I like the ocean is my happy place. You know what I'm saying?
Where's that at? What part of the, like, where do you go to the ocean at?
Oh man, I don't care if I'm in Florida. I don't care if I got to go to Jersey. Listen, man, you know, if I'm feeling and the only spot I can get to is Orchard Beach, I'm going to Orchard Beach. You know what I'm saying? The ocean's the ocean, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm not worried about the environment that's around there because I'm dialed in on the Creator. I'm dialed in on everything that's all around me.
You really make it a point to live life.
Yeah.
You make it a point to live life, man. It's very inspirational to see you do what you do because it's like, yo, man, I want to go out there and seize the day myself.
Yeah.
You know, you just want to seize that day. I want to go to work, and then I want to do this, and then I want to spend time with this one, and then I don't want to sit around and do nothing all day. I want to make sure that every moment of the day, I'm using it to try to do something. Or, you know.
Well, you know what they say, right? And this is for the dudes locked down, man. When they say they could trap your body, but they can never trap your mind. You know what I'm saying? And
Jay-Z cannot live.
You know what I'm saying? And one of the greatest prisons that most of us live in are mental prisons. You know what I'm saying? We're trapped behind the bars of our own mind. So if we can learn to escape that prison from a mental standpoint, then we'll always be free. And for me, the word of God was that key that released me from the mental prison that I was bound to. You know what I mean? Just from my past experiences or from the information that I was feeding myself. Because I tell a lot of people, man, yo, hip hop raised me. Yo, when Mobb Deep came out, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, that changed everything. Yeah. You know, we went from being kids to, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, so we started living what we was hearing. So, you know, when it came to the word of God, I took that same principle. Good, let me start living what I'm hearing. And that's where I experienced the transformation. It set me free. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, you know, I walk in that freedom, man, because the Bible tells us that the meek shall inherit the earth. So everything around us is our gift. You know what I'm saying? We just have to practice the law of recognition, because that what you don't recognize, you know what I'm saying? It goes uncelebrated, and that what goes uncelebrated eventually disappears. You know, you don't get to enjoy that because you're not taking the time to acknowledge its presence. And there's beauty all around us, man. We live in a beautiful world. You know what I'm saying? We could choose to see the ugly, or we could choose to see the good. I choose to see the good.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you know, so, and that's why I say, man, mindset is everything. You know what I mean? If you can change your mind, you can change your life. You good?
I'm good, yeah. No, I'm letting you, you know, I'm taking in what you're saying.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's just, and that's the bottom line.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the bottom line. The mind state is really, really, the mind is where it begins. You
Yeah.
know, it's the intention, the mind.
Exactly.
These are the things that matter, and you gotta, you know, you stay in that mind state, or even in just that mentality. You gotta pull yourself away from a lot of things sometimes.
Yes.
Things that ain't fun. Sometimes you gotta watch things happen, and you know that if you go down that path, even just a little bit, you're gonna end up doing something that you don't want to do.
Mhm.
So you can't even go even just for a little bit. You can't even put one toe inside that pool. You know, because you know if you put one toe in, the next thing you're going to be doing 2 days later is doing a triple backflip off the highest diver board into that pool.
Yep.
Because, you know, some people can't do things in moderation. So, because we're running down on time.
All right.
On this. So I now want to talk. So the barbershop, let people know where the barbershop is.
81 Pike Street, Port Jervis, New York, Tri-State Barbershop.
If anybody's out there,
stop by, man. Stop by. You know what I'm saying?
Let's talk about the book real quick. Step into your greatness.
Mm-hmm.
Where can people get it?
The book is available on Amazon. Amazon.com. You know what I'm saying? You go there. The book's available. Step into your greatness.
Physical copy.
Physical copy. Yep. And I'm getting ready to do the free digital download.
Okay.
Because you know, of course, when when you're doing something like that, it takes money to be able to run, you know, that level of business. But I believe that information should be readily available for anybody that's ready to consume it. So I'm getting ready to release a free digital download as well. And we're going to do a 5-day challenge with that, where I'm going to be able to work with people directly in a virtual setting, in a closed group setting, to where we're going to go through the contents of the books, because the book is a personal success handbook. It's not like you're going to read a whole bunch about my life and my story. No, it's faith-based principles that are going to cause you to take immediate action upon them, to be able to discover the greatness that already exists on the inside of you. So it's like a handbook / journal. You're going to be doing more writing in that book than I am.
And it's something that you stand behind. So
It is. You know why? Because it's the same steps that I took in order to get to where I am. Faith,
so you know it works.
Purpose, vision, action, and giving.
So you know it works.
I know it works.
Right. As you're talking, it seems like you're constantly doing something. What are some of the new adventures and some of the new things that you're looking forward to doing and or are already doing? Yeah,
so right now I'm in the process of getting my life coach certification, and I'll have that in 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? So I'll be a board certified life coach with the NACC, which is the National Association of Christian Counselors. And then after that, I'm going for my counseling. And then I just got hired by the state to go and work in the juvenile jails. So, you know, I'm looking at...
Look at my guy shining. This is my man from the block. Can you hear me?
Yeah, so you know what the thing about it is, though, it's good, though.
Doing everything, man.
I got an opportunity to go and work in the juvenile jails with 2 felony convictions. You understand? You see the magnitude of that?
Of course.
I got 2 felonies, and I'm gonna get to go work in the jails with the young people.
Because that's your purpose.
Yeah, it really is.
As a motivational speaker, this is all the things that you're leading into. Now it's a good thing that we got you up here now.
Yeah.
You know, I appreciate you coming up, and even the brothers that's locked down, just so that they know that there's a period, because you're gonna have younger guys that are locked down.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have to go through that time. Right now, it sucks. You know what I'm saying? But there is a chance. You got to remember, you take things day by day. You can listen to my man. You can look at me. This is actually happening. You know, you can change your life at some point. It's just a daily process. It's a grind. It's the want, the desire, and it can happen. So never give up faith. There's times where plenty of times I thought it was going to be over with, and it just wasn't. Sure, there's plenty of times you thought it was going to be over with for you, and it just wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And here we sit. Me as a DJ, obviously I'm a business owner myself. I'm a homeowner myself. I own a home. I was homeless, sleeping in cardboard boxes at the end of Linden Avenue. You know what I'm saying? In 2008, you just don't know what can happen. Never give up the faith.
That's it, man. And I always say like this, man. We was willing to go all out and risk our lives for a lot less.
Nothing.
You know what I'm saying? For nothing. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you know, so to do the right thing and to walk in righteousness, you know, why not give it your all, man? Because, you know, if you look at where you're at and you think about what it took for you to get there, you know, that started with a conscious decision. And then you went all out. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, you know, figure out what the right thing is to do. Go all out. Trust the process. Embrace the process. Because the process is going to produce in you what you need in order to inherit the promise.
Put the work in, trust the process. What else? Anything else you got coming out, coming going on?
Like I said, yeah.
Besides the juvenile things, I know you always working with different people that are in the area, always trying to put together something positive.
Yeah,
Is there
yeah.
anybody you want to shout? Another thing, you want to shout out anybody?
Yeah, man. There's a lot of people I could shout out because no man becomes who he is on his own.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So there's a lot of people that have contributed to me being who I am today, and I'm just gonna shout everybody out. Y'all know who you are because I don't want to leave nobody out. You know what I'm saying? But the people that are important to me, I make it a point to shout them out every day and let them know that they're important to me, man. I got some day ones that have been there since forever. You know what I'm saying?
I see you still rocking with Freddie Hall.
Yeah,
man.
man. Fred.
Shout out to Freddie.
Yeah, man. That dude is,
Rest in peace to the rest of the people. Apple and everybody and Adam. And this has been, I don't know the situation with you guys, but I just know when I was, you had Bullet.
You know what it is, man? It's still all love with everybody.
Love.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
gotta be.
Because I tell people this, man. I say, there's certain things that just come with the game. Yeah. The game wasn't designed to keep us together. It was designed to tear us apart. When you walk in darkness, you gotta deal with the attributes of darkness. You know what I'm saying? So the game, it took some lives. It destroyed some lives. It destroyed some relationships. Like, when I heard Nas say best friends become strangers back in the days, I couldn't grasp that concept until I got older and I went through some things and I started looking back and I'm like, damn, that's what he was talking about. You know what I'm saying? But once I understood, the root of it all, it was easy for me to forgive and forget and move on and say, you know what? We was all going through our own struggle and trying to figure out life, because none of us had any guidance. We were the blind leading the blind. So, it's all love with all of my peoples from back in the days, you know what I'm saying? I really don't have any ill intent or anything in my heart ill towards anybody. You know what I'm saying? Because I walk in the love of Christ. So it's easy for me to be able to have those relationships with dudes that I had 20, 30 years ago, man. Even dudes that I was, I was with odds at one point or another. I'm man enough now to walk up and say, yo, let's talk about that. You know what I'm saying? Let's get that right because we was kids. So why we still going to carry, something like that in our hearts? Because all that is a burden that's going to trip us up, later on down the road. So, I've learned how to normalize having, uncomfortable conversations and, taking things to where, it may be uncomfortable or where it was wrong and making it right because that's what makes us men. You know what I'm saying? Because the goal now is how can we make each other better? I'm not about destroying. I'm about building. I'm about building people up. You know what I'm saying? So, and if you can't do it in your own backyard and you can't do it with the people that you came up with, don't try to go out and win the world if you can't win your own town.
That's right. And that's why we're keeping it the way we're keeping it right now.
Yeah.
Just what I'm trying to be. I'm just trying to be with people that I don't care about the level. I don't care about the level of popularity. Right now I need the level of thoroughness.
Yeah.
That's what I'm more into right now.
Yeah, because it's about the quality.
It's about the quality, man. And I need this type of message to my listeners. I'm not Mr. Popular.
Yeah.
I know my listening fan base is. I know where I'm hitting. My stuff is only for a certain particular type, and the message you bring tonight was excellent. I just had to say thank you, and I'm so happy to see you. It's been quite some time since I've seen you, since you told me about Swin the Example.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
I ran into you at Lounsbury. I remember
Yeah.
everything. You don't even remember. I ran into you in front of Lounsbury one day. I'm like, yo, what's up? Yo, you better check my man Swin the Example. I'm like, and I did. But I appreciate you coming up tonight, spreading this word of success, both mentally, spiritually, and physically, financially, in every single way possible, because that's what you're really achieving.
Yeah.
You really are achieving it. You're really living a dream, stuff that our parents were unable to do. To actually rise above all of that stuff is, sometimes when you're putting in so much work, the way it seems that you put the work in, you might forget. Because you always I'm like that. I put in so much work, I forget what I've achieved.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I did achieve things, but I never take that time to really sit back.
Celebrate your small victories.
I gotta stay on the grind. If I don't, something could happen to go in the other direction. And I just want to let you know that me as, an old buddy, old pal, I'm very happy for you.
I'm happy for you, my brother.
I am very, very happy for you to see you in this manner. I'm so happy that you did something with yourself. I'm glad that we're sitting here tonight alive still. You coming out with a book was very impressive to me. I was just like, you were dead serious about your message in every shape, form, or fashion. So whether it's just a speaking thing, physical, you're staying on top of your grind, and nothing but success is gonna come from that.
Yeah, and not for nothing, my goal is to get the books in the jails. So if you're listening and you want a copy of the book, you reach out to NUT, you know what I'm saying? Let them know you want a copy of the book. I'll get it to them, and we'll get it shipped out to you free of charge, you know what I'm saying? My goal is to get this into the hands of, as many people as we can that are going to benefit from its content.
All right, so you heard just now. So if you want a book or if you want anything like that, and you can always write us up here, and that's what it's about tonight. We got a few letters already. We're just getting back. If you're a new listener, let's get them letters in. Make sure you're getting them shout outs, stuff of that nature. We're going to put the address out. All right, so grab a pen. If you want a book, just hit me up. I'll reach out to J Vega 360, and he's gonna come through. So if you got a pen, you're gonna write this address down. It's 124 Raymond Ave. No, bring that back. P.O. Box 726. 124 Raymond Ave, Poughkeepsie, New York 12604. Once again. P.O. Box 726, 124 Raymond Ave, Poughkeepsie, New York 12604. Attention, no ideas original, Penitentiary Mail, NUT, something of that nature. Yo, I need to get that letter from G Depp. If you in Fishkill, tell G Depp, and we got mad love for him. Remember, you know G Depp, right?
Yes, I do. Yep.
He locked down. He did already up in Fishkill. I'm trying to make sure that he getting his, he's hearing his music.
Yeah.
This is his something I think he would enjoy to help him get over this last hump.
Yeah.
So that when he gets, because he's almost done, I would say he's got to be coming close to the end of his bid, and this way maybe he can come out and really get into the music again.
Yeah, you know what it is too? It's nice to know that you're not forgotten.
Nah, he ain't forgotten.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man.
It don't make a difference. I treat everybody the same anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's just he had records out that I really enjoyed. So, some inmates are just regular, excuse my language, some people that are locked down, I said inmates, it's not a good thing. Some people that are locked down are different, everybody's different. So, shout out to everybody out there supporting Greenhaven, Walker, Fishkill, Shawangunk, Otisville, so on and so forth. So, J Vega 360, anything else you want to put out there?
Listen, man, I just want to tell people, man, listen, man, with God, all things are possible. I know it sounds like a catchphrase. It's one of those things that you may have heard over and over and over again, man. But, I'm a firm believer, man. It's like, I can only speak to what has worked for me. And the day that I gave my life to Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior was the day that everything changed. And now I live my life, every day in an attempt to point people in that direction. You know what I'm saying? So I understand my mission. I understand my purpose, and like I was telling my man Cuff on the way up, I said, I'm kind of like Moses, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people in the game are trying to charge for everything, man. And it's like, you know what? I'd rather trade the riches of Egypt and suffer the affliction with my people. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Keep me close to the trenches. Keep me close to the, to the streets.
Facts.
Keep me close, to the people that are most in need, man. So that way, I can let that light shine, because the Bible says that we are the light of the world, a city that has been set on a hill that cannot be hid. We are not to take that light and hide it underneath a bushel, but we're to let it shine, so that way it can give light to everybody that's in the room. You know what I mean? That they may see and glorify our Father which is in heaven. So, at the end of the day, man, without no test, there is no testimony. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad I went through everything that I went through, so that way I can be here today, and hopefully this message resonates with somebody out there listening today, because if we only reach one, it's more than worth it.
Yo, you actually got a book out, yo. That's crazy,
man.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
When I saw the barbershop, I was Diggle, I was like, damn, you know.
Yeah, and I had 2 barbershops. You know, that's the
Yeah,
crazy
well,
thing. Like,
I
yo,
do when you
yeah,
brought it, when you
yeah,
brought
like,
it up, I'm like,
yeah,
yo, did he have
yeah,
that?
yeah.
Yeah, you
So
had,
I,
you
yeah,
had the
that
second
was the
one.
crazy
And I
thing,
remember
man. Is when I had the second one, I was like,
I remember
wow.
when you first opened it.
Yeah, you know, and then to have the house.
Y'all two ever trade?
Huh?
You ever trade kick it with each other? You and Cuff?
No, oh yeah, me and Cuff always we built.
You
Yeah,
guys do
yeah,
your thing?
yeah.
You know, Cuff get down with
Yeah,
scripture heavy.
we was doing the barbershop Bible studies at Fusion. You know what I'm saying? Like going to church together at house.
I said, yo, you know, he's like, nah, I don't know him.
Listen,
uh,
shout out, yo, hold up though, Cuff. Yo, we gotta shout out Pastor Steve.
Yes, yeah.
Listen, man, that's a dude that
Pastor
Pastor Steve. Like,
I've heard his name.
yo, Pastor Steve be in the jails. You know what I'm saying? Like, dudes come home and he makes sure they get. Pastor Steve was like. I had Pastor Dillard, which was one of the first pastors that mentored me. But Pastor Steve, man, when he came alongside me, he's the one that introduced me to ministry. And being, straight out the streets and, rough around the edges, that man embraced me. You know what I'm saying? He put me in ministry. He was there for me. Like, I mean, so, that's a dude that we have to shout out, man, because I've never met a pastor with a heart for people like that guy right there. You know what I'm saying? And like
all I'm saying is this: that he must be doing right because I be hearing his name ringing like yo, and it be coming from people that I put my trust into.
Yeah.
So, yo, this is dude Pastor Steve. Like people like crazy.
Yeah, man.
That's nice. All right, so we gonna wrap it up, man. We gonna wrap it up. Yo, listen, if there's ever any other time, I know. We satisfied with what we?
I'm more than satisfied, man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. You took a lot. We drove all the way out here.
And then that's listen, man. I don't care how far I gotta go, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, if God sends me.
Listen, I appreciate you coming up.
Yeah, and I appreciate you having me.
Listen, I'm glad that you took the time to do this and we got to kick it. I got to hear a little bit about because I was wondering where a lot of these things came into play.
Yeah.
And now I have a better understanding and what you're doing and I'm really there for you.
Yeah.
If there's any way that I can, I might not have that outlet but if there is ever a point where you ever need my help, man, that I can do something.
And my thing is this though. Yeah, listen, man. If nobody's told you they proud of you, I'm telling you, I'm proud of you. You know what I'm saying?
I don't get those.
Nah, but like I say, because
it's like I live 2 different lives. They don't know, so it's hard. So when I'm doing music with people, I can't. I don't know that part, and I don't want to go into that. So it's kind of like I just want to live this one life. But you were there.
Yeah.
The mad nights. I seen you on Spring Street. There's like tons of. I couldn't even. It goes on for days. We talk about that for days.
Yeah, I was telling people the other day, I said, I remember back in the days when I used to stand out on Sheffield in the rain with the Columbia rain suits. Remember the Columbia rain suits?
Yeah.
Selling dime bags, you know what I'm saying?
Of course.
Like, yo, I'm not moving, you know what I'm saying? Like
over there trying to sell you was already selling pre-rolls back then.
Remember that?
You don't remember you was selling pre-rolls?
Yep, we'd get the box of 50, you know what I mean? Roll them up, $3 blunts, you know what I'm saying?
$3 blunts. He beat me to it. He had the $3 blunts.
Yeah.
And then they were like, now we got some fatter ones too for like $5.
Yeah, man. Like, yo, man, I remember those days, man.
I mess with Todd.
Yeah, man.
I mess with Todd. Todd's been up here. I had him up here spin. Well, I had about the conversations with Todd. You know what I'm saying? Todd, Todd, had his extortion days in the back in the days. I'd be like, yo, Todd. He's like, nah, I ain't remember that. I said, yo, man. I said, man, that's not a good thing, brother.
Yeah, that was. But he was a wolf, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the thing. Like, yo, we was surrounded by wolves. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
Like,
it
was
crazy, man.
And it was a dog-eat-dog world out there. You know.
And he's another one, man. What a great dude.
Yeah, great dude.
I still rock. I don't know how.
Nah, that's still my brother, man.
Yeah,
always love, man.
I gotta say that. I'm glad that out of all the people that I've met in my life, he's still involved with me until this day.
Yeah.
We recorded some records.
Wow.
Yeah, I got like 8 or 9 records from him. All the original tracks.
Ooh.
You want them, right?
Yeah. Let's press him up and let's get him out there and make that boy some money.
I'm trying to tell y'all. I'll be trying to tell him. We got to get in. But shout out to Brody. If y'all don't know who I'm talking about, that's Brody that been up here. He's been up here about twice. I think he was here with you when you were up here one time. And shout out to my man, Todd One, old school MC from Middletown. from the North Street Park Jam and all that.
Yeah.
Actually, one of the first people I seen him in Chalk.
Chalk, Nap Hoods back in the days, man. Chalk and Buster. You know what I mean? Shout out Sincere. You know what I mean? Like, yo, it was crazy, man. Yep. So, and he's doing his thing too down in Georgia, man. Got his podcast.
He's been up. He was up here. He was up here one time, and then, rest in peace, Star Kiva.
Yeah.
Rest in peace to Lamar. That was a rough one. But Sincere and Star Kiva, they did this freestyle for me. It was kind of, it was over the Shook Ones beat from one of my mixtapes.
Wow.
You know, when I used to put out the
I remember that. I remember that. Yep.
Yeah. And it was a dope freestyle. But anyways, all right. So we're gonna wrap it up. Tone Cuff in the building. Decaf Black in the building. My man Jay Vega 360. Tri-State Barbershop. Step into your greatness. Get the book. Amazon. If you coming soon.
Yeah, if you want that free copy, you in the jails.
Right.
Yo, just let my man Nut know. You know what I'm saying? I'll get it over to him. We'll get him shipped out to you straight up. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
You know, let's impact the world, man. You know, let's help our people.
All right, so we're going to wrap it up. 91.3 FM. I know it was a long interview, but my guy gets the platform to do what he had to do. All right, so we ain't going to be doing no more music. 91.3 FM, WVKR, Independent Radio, Penitentiary, Mail, No Ideas, Original with me, DJ NUT, co-host Decaf Black, Tone Cuff in the building, special guest tonight, my man Jay Vega 360. All right, we're going to end it like that. Peace.
Nice.
Oh, man.
That shit was real.
That was real.
Ah.